Hello, Lydia. Thank you so much for including your animated GIF as well as your PDF of the magazine ad. I appreciate that. Magazine ad first. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Now, it's much improved. It definitely is much improved. The thing that I'm seeing in the magazine ad, I think, is that I think that your type. This should be probably. I would take this out of the box right here and try to incorporate that and into the actual type itself. I don't think you need that box at all. And then my final recommendation, you got to get the contact information in here, absolutely, because it's a magazine ad. If the viewer doesn't know how to contact the client, then the ad is for naught. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very, very highly recommended that you include the contact information in that magazine ad. Now let's go ahead and jump to the banner ad. Now I see that you've changed the color of the type, and that's fine. I think that's fine. The animation is there. The masked image is there. The logo placement, everything looks good. Now if we take a look at this background image here and we compare it to this background image, this one doesn't have the same kind of adjustments. This one has a lot more contrast. And I would recommend that that you use the same kind of adjustments here so we get that same kind of contrast in the background image. We just don't see it here. We can see this wonderful contrast here on these rocks right here and all through here, but we just don't have it here. This one seems to be somewhat washed out. I recommend a layer adjustment to address the contrast in the background image. The type itself, spend some quality time. This S in some should be capitalized because this is title case indicated by the capital in the Q, the T. So that should definitely be capitalized. Some. Spend some quality time with your family. That's great, but this is just huge. This type is just enormous. I think it's just really not allowing the viewer to have an interaction with the background image. Watch my cursor. And plus, another thing about the type is it's butted right up against the edge. There's no breathing room there at all. We can see the same thing here. So you're showing this tendency to want to push your type to the very edge of the composition. And you definitely need to set up some margins there just to give a nice clear distance and allow the text to kind of breathe with the background image instead of being forced right up into the page margins there. So I recommend establishing good buffer zone, a little margin there. Reduce the size of this, watch my cursor, so this should be about this big. That's it, just that's it. That's it. Man, not that big, but this big. Okay, then again, reduce the size of that, and then you'll reduce the size of this as well, and animate this. Now, when you animate this, stay 2 nights, get the third night free. Right now it's blinking in and out, and that's not the most relaxing thing. And Amethyst Bay relaxation is a good portion of their branding attempts. So I would recommend that we preserve that relaxed posture by really slowing this down. If you go into the announcements area and take a look at these examples, you'll see that all of the animations are really very deliberately fade in and fade out. None of them blink like this, and the reason is because it's just a little too jarring to the eye. I highly recommend using fades here in this animated call to action. You don't have to include the entire contact information in the ad, but I would certainly include the location, definitely, because located in U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas that's a pretty unique portion of the world. Some consider to be the most beautiful geographic location in the world. So you definitely want to use that to assist your attempt in getting the viewer to click on this banner. My final recommendation is to watch your shape of the logo itself. Logo placement, it's been distorted, and I'll show you an example in a second, but typically that happens if you place the logo and resize it. So when you resize it, you definitely want to make sure that you constrain the original proportions. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to pull that over here for a second, and I've got the PDF with the logos right here. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at the shape of this, okay, and compare it to the shape of this. And I realize this is smaller, but this in relationship is just much shorter and fatter and wider than this, which is much higher and more narrow. That indicates to me that this has been somehow distorted. And you can see it too in the closed counters in the typeface. Especially look at the shape of that the counter in in the capital A, and then look at the shape over here. So you can clearly see it's a different shape, indicating distortion. So we definitely wanted to rectify that situation by replacing that logo to ensure that, and if you do resize it, make sure that you constrain those at the aspect ratio so that it doesn't appear to be distorted. All right, so those are my recommendations. Great start. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. And if you want to resubmit here after addressing some of these issues, please feel free, and I'll be glad to provide further comments and recommendations. All right, thank you very much.